Welcome back to Central Valley Talk, where we talk to people about what's good about our community, how to make a better community. Also, we talk to authors, such as our guest, Dr. Alan Hedberg. Might have been our guest more than any other guest in the history of Central Valley Talk, and he's brought so much wisdom to us about kids, raising kids, stuff like that. And we've been talking a little bit about healthy home. How you can create a healthy home, how you can build a healthy home.
Yeah, I've given a lot of thought to that, and that's why I wrote this particular book on healthy homes. And there are three components that are part of a home that is considered to be healthy and produces children that are achieving and oriented towards success and helping others, being compassionate and caring. Those homes have singing, those homes have prayer with their children, and those homes produce children who are affirmed.
So common things you find in
affirmation, yeah.
Common things you found in healthy homes are those?
Those three things, the singing, the praying, and the affirming of children in the home. That's the role of the parent. And when you have those three things operating within the home, children are produced that are healthy and are affirmed and successful and achievement-oriented. And do well, by the way. So, we looked at singing from the point of view of what is the message of a song that children are taught when they're young. In church, and Sunday school, and camp, summer camps, and scouts, and all that. We're taught children's songs. So I looked at them from the point of view of what is the psychological message in those children's songs. And they all have this message of affirming children and giving them a sense of accomplishment and importance. So then I said, okay, what about children's prayers? Children are taught to pray. I was taught to pray around the table at bedtime. Our parents do that. So what's the message in those children's prayers? So I went after that. And then I said to myself, what else do parents do that produce successful kids? And I came up with the idea that they affirm kids. They tell kids that they're bright, that they're capable, that they can do it, that they are to be thought of as being a compassionate person or a caring person. That's affirming children. And when you raise children with those three components, you produce a very positive kid and a very successful, oriented kid.
Tell me about this affirmations. That's the word you used, right?
Yeah, affirmation, yeah.
We say some things, if you say things over and over
and over again, kids are going to believe them. Right? We're going to believe them, yeah.
Especially if your parents are feeding them to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of affirmations. And in the book, I just came up with several of them, and I'll just kind of read a couple. I have many talents and abilities.
Here's the cover.
I am valued. I am a good person. I am loved and appreciated. Or these go on and say, I am a unique and special person. I am going to make today count. Or take the one, I am respectful and dependable. So what you do is you tell a child that child is compassionate. But what you want the child to do is to be able to say, I'm compassionate. You want them to turn it into themselves and say, I'm compassionate. I'm a caring person.
Not just it's good to be compassionate, but
I am that kind of a person.
Nice.
So you want the child to adopt that concept that I'm a caring person, compassionate person, a caring person, or I'm a loving person, or I'm a thoughtful person, or I'm a helpful person. All those affirmations. So when we teach children to think of themselves in that context, then the child grows up to be a more positive, self-esteemed individual. It's better to kind of think of yourself as a good person.
Yeah.
But where are you going to learn that? You learn it at home and at school, and then at church if you attend a church. You can learn it there as well. But those are the places you learn that kind of thing.
Yes. Last week we had the same conversation, same book, and some of the stories you told, the prayers you're talking about, the songs you're talking about, that's what my mom sang to us.
That's right.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sure we did.
Age, actually, but
we all had this one at bedtime. I'll just read it because that's the way I grew up. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep, and if I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. That's a nice prayer. It's a calming prayer. And that's the reason for midnight prayers, is to calm and to prepare the child to sleep. But also is reassuring. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. It's reassuring. There's kind of a thought that I'm cared for, I'm taken care of if something should go wrong.
Right.
So that's what a prayer tries to do with a child, is to give them that sense of being important and being cared for. You know, I like this one that I got from Sweden. I'm Swedish, and there's a very important Swedish prayer that's been said for generations in Sweden, and it's different than the American one. And here's what it says: "In the name of Jesus, to the table I go. Bless God the food we receive, and protect with your gentle hand in grace our home and fatherland." You know, and that's a nice prayer, because here's what it says. It says, we come to this table, but we receive what you have provided for us. But bless not only what we eat, but bless the land, bless our country, bless our nation in which we live and on whom we depend. And the Swedish people are national people. They love their country. Their country is very important to them. And it comes from this kind of thinking in early childhood, is bless the home, our home, but bless our fatherland, our native land as well. And that is really a European thought, is the importance of the country, the importance of the land in which they live. We in America don't do that so much.
Nope.
In fact, we're almost at a point where we're denigrating, America, and that's going to have long-range consequences.
And by the way, let's say this. Parents at home with their kids now are doing that denigrating, like, oh, look what the government's doing, look what our country's doing, and they're teaching something to their kids.
We're teaching the negative.
The negative.
And if you live in a negative country, you're a negative person.
Yep.
And you're around negative people. So the whole thought process is negative. And how can you develop self-esteem when you are talking so negatively? Mm-hmm. And if you say it over and over and over again, then again, you're going to begin to believe that. Right. And you got to counter that by saying, to a child, disregard what country you live in, perhaps. Maybe that's the way to do it. But you are a person that can rise above. Mm-hmm. You're the person that's protected. You're worthy of being protected. You're worthy of being cared for. You're worthy of being fed. Right. You're worthy of being supported. And that's what the parents try to teach a child. And then the affirmation is help a child see that, yes, I am a good person. I'm a caring person. I'm a respected person. I am a giving person. That's what we want kids to learn, that they're a giving, that they can give to others and not just be selfish.
But the prayer you're reading from your homeland or whatever, that honors your parents, right?
Exactly.
And your grandparents.
Yes.
And people.
Your home and fatherland.
And it gives you thoughts of people who came before you that you could and should honor.
That's a very good idea, in a sense of the generational support, that you want children to experience and to know that they have.
Yeah.
And that comes from all the various generations of grandparents and sometimes great-grandparents.
Yeah. And by the way, I meant to say this, maybe we made the point, but you're saying that prayer, the one maybe your parents had you read or they read to you, that's years, that's decades.
Oh, decades of, and it gives you a kind of a sense of not only a faith and a belief system, but a personal support system, knowing that you're not alone, knowing that what you eat has been provided, that there's a greater force, there's a greater source of providing for you, and you're not just being handed down something.
Let me ask you this from the perspective of people at home watching right now. I remember some of these prayers, like I said, in songs. My mom sang to me, but if you don't have that wealth of knowledge from your parents, here's some good examples here.
That's why I put them in a book.
You know what I don't like? People say, hey, Mike, can you lead us in prayer? And I've got to think of I'm not good at that. But here they are in a book.
They're right
that's
here.
Nice.
And that's why I put them here, so that you have a prayer. That if you don't have a list of prayers, to use with your children, then here's a book that will give you some. Mealtime prayer. This is the one we grew up on, mealtime. Come Lord Jesus, be our guest, and may all this food to us be blessed. Mm-hmm. It's not just eat. It's kind of looking at food as something sacred.
Right.
It came from something that's sacred. It's for a purpose that's sacred. Mm-hmm. Now, you're trying to teach a child some of these higher values than just going through a routine or a ritual.
Right. Yeah. It may be ritualistic when you start doing these
prayers.
It
kind of sounds like it does.
What do we do right before we eat?
Yeah.
We do the prayer. What do we do right before we sleep?
There's nothing wrong with rituals.
No.
It's respecting them, but it's learning from them. That's what rituals are for, is to teach us something that we can then take on to the next generation and carry that on. That's what we want to do as a family. We want to do that as parents. We don't want to just, have our children and then let them go on their own and figure it out. Yeah. We want to give them the tools of self-esteem, the tools of self-support, the tools of compassion, the tools of looking to something beyond yourself. into something greater than yourself.
I know there's people out there watching saying, I didn't have that, what Dr. Hedberg did and what Mike Briggs had when I was a kid. I don't have that, but they can have it. Here's a pretty good book, yeah.
Here's the book. Get the book.
Literally the answer to your prayers, right here.
Yeah, Healthy Homes. It's where
if I
healthy kids grow.
Let me see if I can put the cover
And
up
that's
here.
where I think is the important thing. You have a healthy home, and the kids in that home become healthy kids. And it's a perpetuation of values.
It doesn't have to be accidental that you have unhealthy kids or healthy kids. You can actually take some steps.
Oh, you can create, you create a healthy kid.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you do. And if you don't have these kind of, I'll call them rituals, if you don't have them, then you're telling your child it's up to you. It's the way the wind blows. And they're more subject to influence and social pressure and social influence around them. And then the peer group becomes the source of support and encouragement, or source of values and the source of decision making.
What I see here in your book, it's kind of built in that it sets your kids up to respect the parents, respect the grandparents, respect the heritage that you may not even have seen in your life.
And respect your homeland.
Homeland, right.
Yeah, and in the Swedish way, it's the fatherland. But it's the homeland.
Yeah.
Yeah, respect the country you live in. It's there for you. Make it better.
Right. I had the best upbringing because next door to us were a Japanese family.
Oh, yes.
And a Mexican family.
Yes.
And to watch how they came together.
Oh,
their
family,
rituals, their prayers,
they're family
meals.
oriented. They love family.
Yeah. And I always thought, well, what do I have? I grew up in America, but I do have that from my parents. I never really thought it would.
You carry it with you throughout life.
Throughout life,
and then times of stress and times of distress, you reflect on some of the things that you were taught as a child. But if you haven't been taught that, then you don't have that as a resource.
Right. Tell me about this, setting this in your child's mind when they're 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. That's the time, I would
That's the
imagine.
time. Children will learn best before age 11.
11. Okay.
They learn well before the age 8.
Right.
So like a language, a new language, a second language, you want to do that before 11.
Okay.
Because that's when their mind and their brain is best to learn new material. So it's this kind of thing too, that when you want to teach a child's values, you want to teach a child a way of thinking, then do it early.
Yeah.
The earlier the better.
Right. I was thinking that, I'd forgotten all those prayers and stuff, but I realized how deep they're in my subconscious.
Oh, they're there. And all you have to do is kind of have something trigger it, and then you remember that.
Yeah.
And it's encouragement.
Right.
It kind of gives strength.
And the point I want to get to, those watching at home who didn't have this experience growing up, it's not too late. You got a whole instruction book on here. Here's the cover, by the way, if I can show the cover.
The book is here. You have your kids, no matter how old they are, This is the same message to an older child as to a younger child, and certainly to grandparents and for their grandchildren.
Now, we have, if you don't see it, I'll put it on when we post this video. Dr. Hedberg has all these resources out there on YouTube and things like that.
Yes.
All of these videos will be on YouTube.
Yeah, go to www.books.by.hedberg.com.
Yeah, and that'll get you everywhere, huh?
Yes.
Books by Hedberg. What else are we going to talk about today, Dr. Hedberg?
Well, I just want to make sure that you understand that a home is a sacred place.
Yeah.
And it's a place of teaching, it's a place of learning, it's a place of growing. But you can grow healthy or you can grow unhealthy. Make your home a healthy home. Make sure that you sing. Make it a singing home.
Singing home?
Make sure you have prayer. Make it a praying home. Make sure that your home is affirming. It's a place of affirmation. Tell your children what is the good qualities that they have and the good qualities that you want them to develop. And then you have a healthy home and you'll produce healthy children.
Right. Let me say this kind of interesting story is I didn't realize that my mom was not a singer.
Doesn't have to be a singer.
No, we grew up with these great songs. We know the song. We sing them to these.
It's the words.
To this day, it's the words in the song, right?
Who cares what it sounds like? It's the words that you want to instill.
And by the way, you have some of those songs in the book.
Yes, I do.
Quite a few.
All the songs and all the prayers are in the book. You can just read them, and you'll remember them yourself, I'm sure.
Yeah, you'll remember them come to you. Tell us about where we get that book. All your books, in fact.
Well, Amazon has them. Barnes & Noble, of course, has it. And then my website, www.booksbyhedberg.com.
Great.
But Amazon and Barnes & Noble would be a good place to pick it up.
When we put all that this video out there, we're going to put all those links. You just click and go order it. What do people want to ask you?
Order several of them.
Yes,
one to give away.
Right.
And maybe if you're a grandparent, make sure that all your kids get one for their children.
Right. I never order one book.
No, I
You
borrowed
click
two.
5 times. Click 5 times. Who could you give this book to? Everyone. Any expectant parent,
Yes.
certainly.
Yes. New parents, particularly. Yes.
New grandparents, stuff like that. I mean, you can't go wrong with this book. I'm not hawking it or telling people to buy it. Oh, wait, but that's why we're here, isn't
That's
it,
right.
Dr. Hedberg? But let's look at the title and stuff. I had a little trouble finding it on Amazon just now because.
Oh, it's there. Healthy
Okay.
Homes.
But when I type Healthy
Under my
Homes,
name,
it
you'll
popped
find
right
it.
up.
Yep.
Or just type Dr. Alan
Just
Hedberg.
type my name in there and up it pops. Yep.
By the way, wherever you're watching this, you'll be able to just copy that Dr. Alan Hedberg and paste it right into Amazon and find
Yes.
stuff really quickly.
Yeah.
I make it easy for you guys. Are we leaving anything out, Dr. Hedberg?
No, I think that's good. I just want to make sure that families look at their children with hope. You know, families look at their children with aspiration. They look at their children with potential.
Right.
And teach the child what potential they have and what resources they have as they grow and will utilize for their own maturity and for their own success and achievement as they increase in age and go to school and enter a career and enter their own marriage and enter their own life.
By the way, these kids are going to be raising your grandchildren. So
You got to think about
you're
that.
training this
Yeah.
kid because they're going to train the grandkids.
It's going to go right on
Yeah.
down.
And my mom, you know, when she reads me these prayers and stuff you've been reading and the songs, she says, "Oh yeah, my great grandma taught
Oh,
me
that-
that." And that's
We
very
all
touching.
remember Grandma, you know,
Yeah.
teaching these kind of prayers and songs and making those statements of affirmation. Grandmas were always important in the life of a child, and it's unfortunate for children who do not have grandparents.
Right. And by the way, when you're clicking multiple orders on this book, order one for grandma, of course. Go order one for
Thank her.
great
for-
aunt. Order one for great
Yeah,
aunt.
thank her for
the
what she
cousins.
did.
And
She'll enjoy this as a good memory.
anybody that's going to be helping raise your kids, get them this book. So,
Yeah, I
but
think
how
so.
about this? When your friend's having a baby, they have the wedding shower, baby shower.
Yeah. Here you
Perfect
are.
gift right there. Yeah.
Start your home being healthy to begin with,
Right.
and then it will always be healthy.
And that's why I say don't go click order once, order 5 of these things or 10. You're always looking for gifts to give people. There it is right there, Dr. Hedberg Books, Healthy Homes. Are we skipping anything, Dr. Hedberg? You want to talk about anything else?
No, I just want to make sure that you understand that a home is created. A home is built. You know, it's not just the building, but it's the atmosphere, it's the attitude, it's the values within them. And we create that. And parents create that. And children then benefit, you know, from that. And I go back to the study that was done in Santa Barbara, California, where children in the 3rd grade and 4th grade were taught songs every Friday. And then they discussed those songs and what it meant to them. And those kids not only did better academically, but they did better in their social values, their social relationships. And over time, they became some of the top kids in class, as compared to another group of kids that just played, you know, on every Friday afternoon rather than having the singing.
Right.
And so songs became a teaching component to those kids, and they became better kids, better students.
In the 1960s, you remember those?
Yes.
They came in, we sang in the classroom. It was like you said, every
Oh, yes.
Friday
Oh, yeah.
or whatever it was.
And I'm sorry for that. That
Yeah.
music has been taken from our classroom.
Yeah.
That was a missing component. We made a mistake there, and we need to correct that because children learn a lot from the music. It's not just music; it's the values they learn. It's the way of life they learn. It's the ideas that are indwelt from the singing that they do, and the poetry that they read, and from the prayers that are said, and the various verses that are learned in poetry and so on. We have really missed the value of teaching children some of the deeper concepts of living and values of living. Music is the way of doing it.
Music. By the way, I went crazy on my times tables.
Oh,
I repeated them over and over and over and over and over. Is this the same?
same thing.
Yeah.
You know, we A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Remember? That's
Yeah.
how you learned your alphabet.
Yeah.
Was through singing.
Singing it, yeah.
Yeah. So songs have had a lot of value in terms of teaching value.
Yes. Did we cover everything, Dr.?
I think we did. I appreciate the opportunity to bring this to our audience today and to make sure that they pick it up and bring it into their home and bring it into the life of their children and in their grandchildren and put some faith in the fact that children are people who are potential and that potential can be developed.
Right. Put a little faith back in the faith. All right, Dr. Hedberg.
Thank you.
You're going to come back again and
We'll
again.
come
We're
back
going to talk
again.
about this
Thank
more
you.
and more.
Thank you.
And for our viewers, don't go anywhere because we're going to have another international author right after this.